Akshay Kumar is at it again. Remember, during the pandemic, he made Brave with the first major starring Hindi film on OTT platform, Lakshmi. That was a non-starter. Quickly makes his corrections and is out now with one of the biggest films in the post-pandemic to open up in the theatres. The film is Bell Bottom. Ranjit Tiwari moves from Patiala House and obviously from John Abraham to Akshay Kumar, and I think obviously for a filmmaker that is a very definite move. Paradigm shift nearly, because Akshay Kumar today is a huge draw at the box office in the genre of cinema, of thrillers, in the kind of cinema where you expect a bit of chest beating, patriotism. You can always add a bit of park baiting to it, and you have that perfect formula that Akshay is just in place for. You've seen him in Airlift, you've seen him in Mera Naam Shibana, you've seen him in films like Baby, multiple films that deal with raw, the thriller types where he's the man who puts his life and his action thrilling scenes right ahead of the entertainment quotient to an audience that loves that kind of cinema. Akshay is in full cry. The story is simple. 210 people aboard an Indian airline flight are hijacked. The hijackers are supporters of the ISI or working at ISI's behest. It is obvious grammar to suggest that Pakistan and ISI are hand in glove. There's no suggestion. It is stated obviously that they are both hand in glove. And then at the end of the film, you also have footnotes telling us how it got the guns, what support it got from Pakistan, etc., etc. While I was walking out of the theatre, I was wondering why is it that filmmakers even now labor to tell us that Pakistan is anti-India. Even my beagle knows it. My puppy dog knows that Pakistan is an enemy country qua India. If somebody doesn't, maybe it's one of those who's making an honest attempt to build bridges or people who go there for birthday parties. But we do know that it's the enemy country for various reasons. We are not going into that in the context of Bell Bottom. Operation Bell Bottom is about a raw agent who dares, who joins up, has an audience with Prime Minister Indira Gandhi. At her time is when the hijack happens, and so she, being the lady she is, the persona she is, decides that his say in operating the mechanics for getting the people back home shall be his call. Resultantly, you have the ministers silent. You have two people coming in as minister. You have Thalaivasal Vijay as the foreign affairs minister, and for civil aviation you have Abhijit Lahiri, both of them props, behaving in a manner that we all look down at Indian politicians. I really see no reason for that. Because even the way you caricature Muraji Desai, the way you caricature the minister who comes as the home minister and talks to the media, very, very, very pigeonholed. But going back to the story, Ankush, or the raw agent, played by Akshay, who's named as Bell Bottom, is the center, the fulcrum of the story of how he's going to operate and save all the 210 passengers. For bonus, he gets back the bad boys, the terrorists. The film obviously depends completely on Akshay Kumar, prim and proper for his age. Just what the doctor ordered for him, he delivers. The problem with the film is not Akshay Kumar. The problem with the film is the editing. Chandan Arora gives it too much of space for the Ma Beta Pyar, which could have been avoided. Notwithstanding the fact that the Ma over here, Dolly Ahluwalia, is a different paradigm from the Nirupa Roy weeping mom. She's that Punjabi mom. And it's interesting to see her there in the movie, but I don't think all that was necessary at all. For a raw agent, he does need no reason why he needs to fight for the country. To give it an extra reason is a needless prop and wholly could have been done away with, and the film could be shorter by about 15-20 minutes. But then our filmmakers also think anything short of 2 hours is bad cinema. That's a problem both primarily with the filmmaker and probably sometimes with the audience, which feels cheated of its money. Probably even the popcorn guy tells the filmmaker, please make enough of cinema so that people have enough time to buy a large tub of popcorn and finish it by the time the film is over. The film, there are two kinds of people who, I'll divide them. All those who like Akshay Kumar are going to like the film, go see it, you like it. Akshay has his moments, and like the film also has a few of its moments. Those others who see cinema seriously, too much of the unnecessary, too much of templates and stereotypes and cliches. But then it is mainstream cinema, you expect that kind of a thing. At some level, I would say Chandan Arora has done well in clipping up the later part of the story. His scissors are sharp and well edged, but the earlier parts of the film he could have done more. Cinematography by Rajiv Ravi is good. Something to do with the name? I don't know. But yes, then you have characters like Vaani Kapoor and Huma Qureshi. No role, they just come in to add some kind of glitter value to the story. There's one last scene of Vaani Kapoor that ends very interestingly, but just very, very minor. That could have been done by anybody. But for Akshay Kumar fans, Bell Bottom doesn't fall flat. For others, it's a reasonable film. It's an entertainer. You don't expect a serious film in the times we live in. If you're going into a theatre after a long time, you obviously want one of those celebrated films, and that's what Ranjit Tiwari gives you. This is no 90 minutes at Entebbe, because this is not Palestinians and Jews. This is bell bottom. There's a lot of bell in the bottom, and that's what the film is. But thank you, Akshay Kumar, for making it watchable. I'll sign off with my customary acknowledgements to Datu, my cameraman, who sets this scenario for me within the parameters of my residence, and Abhinav for editing it and putting it up. Thank you so much for watching. Those of you who have not subscribed and who see it by accident would be encouraging a person like me to do something like this. So do subscribe, do put in your comments. I value them largely, and I appreciate the time you've spent in hearing me out. Good day. Have a nice weekend.